Where were you when you first heard that song played publicly?
Well, I was stuck in the bathroom because the door was busted. And these guys are trying to get me out. They're smashing the door, you know. Marisa was over by the radio. And then she yells out really loud, you know, says, "It's on," you know. And so these guys just kicked the door in and I come flying out. Yeah.
Who do you love? Who do you love? Who do you love? Support them, and show them, Who do you love? Who do you love? Who do you love? Support them, tell them who do you love?
Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And let me know down below, who do you love? The entertainment industry has seen no shortage of families that dream of making it big together as a whole. But in a world way before Drake was a major star, a Canadian family called the Defrancos were well on their way to superstardom. So what happened to the Defranco family? And where are they now? If you've been wondering, don't worry, I've got you covered. Let's go. The Defranco family rose to fame in the 1970s when disco and funk had taken over the world by storm, and everyone in America was reading Tiger Beat magazine religiously to know what their favorite superstars were up to. But who knew that Tiger Beat would benefit from a bunch of amateur Canadian musicians? That's exactly how the Defrancos were discovered, when they in fact had no expectation in getting as big as they did. Hailing from Ontario, Canada, the Defranco family consisted of 5 siblings, including Benny, Marissa, Nino, Marlena, and the lead singer, Tony. The siblings were born to immigrant parents and shared a common love for music, which is why they took the opportunity and started performing at local gigs and clubs to try and get a head start with their career. Tony recalls his father singing Italian songs to him and his siblings, buying them their first instruments, and encouraging them to perform at family weddings and parties. Formerly known as the Defranco Quartet, the siblings were a pretty great local act, and it was at one of their many performances that a man named Ron Myers saw them and knew that they were going to be the next big thing in entertainment. So he went ahead and recorded a couple of demos with the young artists and made arrangements for the group to fly out to LA and meet the president of Tiger Beat, Charles Luther. Watching the siblings perform, Luther instantly fell in love with their talent and signed them to his own company called Luther Entertainment. Then, in 1973, the Defranco family released their first single titled Heartbeat, It's a Love Beat.
To hear the sound of a heartbeat, it's a love beat, and a love beat is a good vibration.
Which went on to gain tons of recognition after peaking at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. That was enough to thrust the Canadian group into stardom. Luther had financed a 3-song deal for the Defranco family and helped them sign to 20th Century Records after that. So the newly hit band would go to Hollywood to record their music and become part of an era where siblings and family groups were all the rage. At the same time, they managed to really make it big in Canada. The country had imposed regulations that encouraged local radio stations to broadcast songs by artists from their country. With 13-year-old Tony Defranco's unbelievable vocals, the band managed to climb several charts, with their debut single selling over 1 million copies and being awarded a gold disc. Their success continued with their second single titled Abracadabra. That was released the same year, peaking at number 32 on the Billboard charts. Their lighthearted sound and fun lyrics were what really made the band stand out at the time, when the Jackson 5 and the Osmonds were also competing alongside. But don't be fooled, because the Defranco family definitely held their ground. Tony remembers the first time he and his siblings heard themselves on the radio, and when they changed the channel, they were on that one too, and then another one. That's how their career kicked off, and after that, it was one PR appearance and meet and greet after the other. Their first ever concert took place in Buffalo, with the girls screaming and crying to get a glimpse of this brand new pop star. Most of the people that the Defrancos knew back in Canada stopped hearing from them altogether until the band released their debut album with the bubblegum pop sound and of course the iconic matching sequence outfits that groups were just known for sporting. But with all of this fame also came a lot of drama because the Defranco sibling experienced so much fame so fast and at such a young age. They remember having no sense of privacy. They couldn't go to school, to the park, or to the mall without being recognized. According to Tony, he always felt like there were eyes on him, with people recording their every move. The siblings were then told by their management that this is what their lives was going to be like. Now, of course, the artists did appreciate all the love and attention that came their way, but at the end of the day, they were still kids and wanted some time where they could just be left alone. Eventually, they did manage to come to terms with making it work between their personal and public lives. But right when the band felt like they finally had it all, things started to slowly slip away. The Defranco family then came out with a cover of Save the Last Dance for Me in 1974.
So darling, save the last dance for me. Baby, don't you know I love you so?
Reaching number 18 on the charts and earning the band 9 appearances on the show American Bandstand. Tons of magazine pieces and photo shoots, and of course, countless songs and performances at all kinds of events. With all this fame, it's kind of hard to believe that 1974 was the final leg of the fame for this family. So what happened after Defranco released what they didn't even know was going to be their final hit? In the mid-1970s, everyone was all about the disco. Now, bands like the Jackson 5 did a pretty good job adapting to the genre of the century, but along with the Osmonds, the Defranco family had trouble finding their footing with the brand new sound. The band tried to switch over to rock and release their song, Write Me a Letter.
Why don't you write me a letter? Write me, the sooner the better. Write me.
Which was pretty good, but somehow it just didn't perform as well as their previous songs, only going up to number 104 on the charts, not even reaching the top 100. After the song failed to perform on the charts, 20th Century Fox let go of the producer, Walt Miskell, who had previously worked with the family on their many hits, and hired Mike Curb, who had previously worked with the Osmonds. Curb was supposed to come in and completely rebrand the Defranco family. However, his vision was a little different than what the artist had in mind. The new producer wanted the Defranco family to become a cover band, and when the two parties couldn't reach an agreement, the Defranco family disassociated themselves with Luther Entertainment and 20th Century Fox. Now, this was at a time when family quartets in general were seeing a decline because people just weren't interested in seeing that anymore. At this time, Tony's voice had started changing. As he was growing up and going through puberty, this had an impact on the band's overall sound, and the fans just weren't here for it. So while the group still continued to perform and make the most of the fame that they had, things just seemed to be fizzling out for them really fast. In 1978, with no future prospects in sight, the Defranco family called it quits, and then the band broke up. While all of the other members stopped performing and pursuing music in general, Tony and Marissa are the only ones who are still trying to carve out their own space in the industry. According to Tony, the first step towards their decline was when their management pushed for all of their tracks to be re-recorded by other artists, leaving basically nothing for his siblings to do except come in and sing background vocals. The singer also remembers being approached by Luther for a solo act, essentially asking him to leave his siblings behind and further his own career. This created a lot of tension between the band members, which contributed to them eventually going their own separate ways. Tony did not want to do the solo career at the expense of his relationships. Now, when the song stopped doing well, the money obviously stopped coming in, leaving the Defranco family to struggle financially. Some of the responsibilities for all of this can go to Charles Luther, who is described by the band as a strict businessman who gave them a terrible contract to sign, knowing that the group had no previous experience with anything of this kind. The attorney that Defranco family had to protect their rights was also an attorney for the record label, so that stopped any chances for a fair fight. But of course, this wasn't the last of the Defranco family, because, well, they are siblings after all, and the group came back for an official reunion concert at the Ryan Records Retrosphere in August 1999. The Defranco family gave their final performance together at a nightclub at BB King's in Los Angeles. with their most devout fans present to bid farewell to the unexpected, well-deserved, and yet still so much brief success of the Defranco family. After the band broke up, Tony decided to put a real estate license to use and started working as a realtor while still managing bands and coordinate music sessions on the side. Sometimes he and his sister Marissa would team up to perform at small events, but as far as the whole family business goes, that's pretty much over. Most of the members focused on education and working behind the scenes in film and record production. But who knows? Maybe someday the Defranco family will return to make up for all the time that they have lost and all the talent that the world has missed out on. Well, that's a wrap for the story of the Defranco family. Let me know down below, who do you love?
Who do you love? Support them, support them. Tell them who do you love?